Hello, I'm Dean Hofert.
I'm Daniel Garcia.
I'm Drake Bartos.
And this is the first episode of Financial Fit with the
Triple D's.
I will be covering Nike today. It is a global leader in athletic footwear, apparel, and equipment. The company was originally founded in 1964 as Blue Ribbon Sports and later renamed Nike. It is headquartered in Beaverton, Oregon in the Portland metro area. Nike's business spans performance running, basketball, training, and lifestyle products as well as equipment. Nike is really the top dog in the athletic wear industry. To cover revenue for Nike, in the year 2025, Nike's revenue was $46 billion.
I will now be covering Lululemon Athletica Inc. This is a Canadian-American multinational company founded in 1998 in Vancouver, British Columbia. It specializes in designing, manufacturing, and selling premium athletic lifestyle apparel, footwear, and accessories. The brand originally started with yoga-inspired clothing and has then expanded to a wide range of activewear. They operate through over 700 company-owned stores worldwide. This includes stores in the US, in China, in Canada, Australia. For the fiscal year ending February 2nd, 2025, the company reported an annual net revenue of approximately $10.6 billion. This is an increase of 10% from the previous year.
I will be doing mine on Under Armour. Under Armour was founded in 1996 by Kevin Plank. At the time, he was the captain of Maryland football special teams player. Their headquarters are founded in Baltimore, Maryland. Throughout the world, there are 15,000 retail stores with 167 stores in the United States. The revenue by the beginning of February is $5.1 billion. Under Armour makes most of its money from sports apparel such as t-shirts, hoodies, shorts, and that is about 60% of their sales in store. Their second main of income would be footwear, tennis shoes, makes about 25, and their others come from accessories throughout the store.
Now we're going to talk about our company's analysis. Starting with Nike. Nike is one of the world's largest athletic companies. It makes most of its money by selling footwear, but it also makes money from apparel and equipment. In 2024, Nike's total revenue was about $51.4 billion. Now to talk about where the revenue comes from exactly. Footwear, it gets $33 billion, which is about 64% of sales. Apparel is around $14 billion, which is 27%. Equipment and other kind of stuff is $1.6 billion, which is 3%. And Converse is $2.1 billion, which is about 4%. For like the global presence, where Nike sells products around the world, sales are spread across North America, which is $21.6 billion, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, which is around $13 billion, China, which is $7 billion, and Asia Pacific and Latin America is $6.4 billion. This shows Nike is a global company and not just focused on the US. Its brand and distribution network gives it a strong international reach. Now talking about the graphs for Nike. What do we start with?
Yeah, the revenue. Let's start with the revenue.
Starting with the revenue over the years. In 2022 is $46 billion, and it eventually stays the same. In 2025 is $46 billion. Going to net income over the 4 years. In 2022 it was $6 billion, and eventually decreased to $3.2 billion in 2025. And finishing with net working capital, it started at $17 billion in 2022 and eventually decreased to $12 billion. And to cover Lululemon, you want to take it away?
I will. So, Lululemon, as mentioned before, makes its revenue mainly through apparel and accessories. Revenue comes through two main channels. The company operated stores, as mentioned before, that they have around 700 worldwide stores, and their e-commerce and online sales. Most of their sales still comes from the Americas, around 70% of the sales, 75%. China with 13%, and then the rest of the world with 12% of the total revenue. As mentioned, Lululemon started in Canada, but now has a global footprint with stores all over the world. They had a 10% increase of revenue from last year, and they keep growing internationally. Now to talk a little bit about my graphs. Over the last 4 years, Lululemon has seen a constant increase. In 2022, they were at around $6 billion for revenue, and then in 2025, $10 billion. The net income has also increased over the last 4 years. In 2022 with 975 million. In 2023 we saw a decrease to 854 million, and then we saw an increase of $1 billion in 2025. For the net working capital, we start at around $1.2 billion. We see an increase of almost 2.5 billion, and then a slight decrease of about 400 million. Drake, say
Yeah, I
something.
got you, Big D. So, as earlier mentioned, about 90% of the revenue comes from certain items such as clothing, hoodies, shorts, including tennis shoes as well this time, while the other 10% comes from about accessories such as bags, water bottles, little items you may purchase in store at checkout. Revenue by region, so North America is their big hitter with about 60% of their sales, while Europe, Middle East, and Africa consists about 21. Asia is about 15, and the other 4% comes from small little parts throughout our world. So now talking about our revenue in my charts. So revenue for Under Armour starts at about $5.7 billion, and it kind of stays at that throughout 4 years. And towards 2025, it drops by about $600 million to $5.1 billion. Now for my networking.
I want to add something very constant revenue. Same with Nike.
Yes. Yeah, and so my net income is completely different compared to theirs because I start at 220 million, and then going into 2025, I am down $201 million compared to any of the other companies we have listed here. So this means that Under Armour is slowly but surely going down compared to these other companies that will be on the up and rise.
That's
So-
very sad to see.
It's not
It
good.
is.
It's not
It
good
is.
at all.
Now for my net working capital, through the first 3 years, it's just kind of the same, about $1 billion. And once again, once 2025 hits, these other companies are peaking. Under Armour, unfortunately, goes down by about $300 more million, and that's just something you don't want to see for the Under Armour brand,
Now we're going to be comparing the 3 companies side by side, starting off with revenue. As mentioned before, Nike's revenue stayed pretty constant. Obviously at the top, they're the top dog, so you see their trend line at the very top, ranging from 46 billion to 51 billion. We see Lululemon, a nice little positive slope from 6 to 10 billion as mentioned before. We see a slight decline in Under Armour from 5.7 billion to 5.1.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you really quick. So one of these reasons why I think Under Armour is decreasing, Dean will know more about this, is some of these sponsorships that Nike's giving out to all these pro athletes. A lot of them, Dean knows more of them than me.
The athletes, I feel like always kind of went towards Nike. You got Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Those are the biggest athletes almost ever. And now you got even the younger guys, Justin Jefferson, you got the Arch Manning. All of them are going towards Nike, and I feel like that's a big reason for it.
I do want to add one thing. He forgot probably the biggest name on the list, Cristiano Ronaldo. Moving on to net income. You can see Nike with a decrease from 6 billion to 3.2 billion, still at the very top of the list. We see Lululemon once again with a nice increase of about 1 billion in total net income, from 975 million to 1.8 billion. And then the saddest of all, Under Armour, going in the negatives, negative 200 million. That is very sad.
I see. It's not good.
To finish off net working capital, we see a very downward steep slope from 17.4 billion to 12.7 billion. This is Nike. And then we see Under Armour and Lululemon just interchanging, moving across each other. They're staying.
Sorry to interrupt you really quick. So, as you can see towards the beginning, Under Armour's kind of been there a little bit longer than Lululemon. So towards the first 2 years, you can see how they're slightly, if not just barely ahead or behind of Lululemon. And towards the end of these last 2 years, you can see that gap is starting to expand just the slightest bit. So one thing that this is telling us, or me at least for Under Armour, is that Lululemon's this newer generation. People are starting to get into it. Under Armour's not really an older generation, but people are more starting to fall away from it more, just because Lululemon's a new big thing coming up in today's world.
Yeah, Lulu's definitely just getting started.
Yeah, and we would definitely see a lot more from them.
Yeah. So why we compared these three? Comparing, when you talk about athlete wear, you gotta bring up Nike, which is like obviously the top dog. And then we wanted a newer company, so that's why we went Lululemon. It's one of the newer ones, and it's just getting started, like we just said. And then Under Armour is sadly just kind of dying off, and we think the reason for this is just the increase in technology and just everything's online now. And Nike had pretty much adjusted really well with that. Lulu's newer, so they pretty much didn't have to
You really don't
adjust.
see Under Armour's name really out there as much anymore,
No,
especially
I don't.
on the social media platform. You just don't see it really anymore these days.
Yeah. Anyone want to add anything?
Do you want to go ahead? Oh, you're done?
I'm good. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so a little bit of what's going on in the industry. The industry continues to grow. The sky is the limit, honestly. Especially outside of North America. Some of the risks that this industry does face can be maybe more competition comes in. Higher costs, maybe for materials, labor, and the global risks of tariffs, trade rules. That's it.
We all good?
Yes, sir.
Stay tuned for our next episode of the Financial Fit with the
Triple D's.